What is Ministry Brands, and in particular, what is Amplified, and how can it help your ministry or your church? Find out in a minute because it's time.
You're listening to the Church Digital Sidekick Podcast, part of the TCD Podcast Network.
Hey heroes, my name is Tom Pounder, and this is the Church Digital Sidekick Podcast. This is the podcast where I bring on ministry leaders and we talk about how you can do ministry more effectively in this very digital and online world. And today I've got a guest on, Nathan James. He's from Ministry Brands, and he talks about a new platform that they've got where they combine a bunch of different stuff into this thing called Amplified Websites and how it can help you in your ministry. It's awesome. We break down every little bit of it, and it's exciting to see how it's played out. And in particular, we recorded this episode a while back, and it's really cool to see how things have developed with Ministry Brands and Amplified. And it's really a great thing for you and your church and your ministry. So what is it? How does it play out? We go into all of that. I'm really excited to have Nathan on the podcast. But before we get into the interview, I want to highlight the Church Digital. At theChurch.digital, we've got great coaching cohorts. We've got great blogs, podcasts. We've got lots of great opportunities for you to grow with your online and digital ministry, whether it's in the metaverse or whether it's just a regular part of a church ministry that you've got going on with reaching people online. We've got lots of great tools, lots of great resources that we'd love for you to check out. So if you've never checked it out, or if you have and you haven't been back in a bit, go to theChurch.digital today. All right, heroes, well, let's get into the interview with Nathan James from Ministry Brands. All right, with me right now is Nathan James. Nathan, how are you today?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. This is one thing I like to ask people that join the podcast from time to time is what's the temperature like, or what's the weather like where you are at right now? So tell us where you're at and what's the temperature going to be like today?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm just north of Atlanta, down here in Georgia, and it is about 85 and sunny. So I feel like we've been through a bit of a roller coaster with cold and hot, then cold and hot, but I'm hoping spring is finally here.
Yeah. I always liked going down to Atlanta this time of year because it was always a little bit hotter than DC where I'm at, but we're supposed to get to 90 degrees today. And I'm like, what the heck?
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah, it's a little crazy. So, well, Nathan, I know who you are, and I know what you do, but some people listening to the podcast may not know who you are and what you do. So quickly tell me what you do.
Yeah, sure. So name is Nathan James. I'm the Senior Vice President of Product Management at Ministry Brands. We are a church technology company today, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But about me, I'm a pastor's kid. I was born in the church, raised in the church. My dad was an executive pastor and administrative pastor of really large churches throughout the Southeast region. So Texas, Florida, Virginia, et cetera. I went to Liberty University, got a degree in ministry and business, and then went to work in the church world. So I was a student pastor, I was a worship pastor at about 7 different churches, everything from your small country church up to your 15 campus multi-site giga church. And then transitioned after doing that for a while, transitioned more to the technology side of things. And then for the last about decade and a half, I've been in the fintech technology space. And working at Ministry Brands is what I like to call the intersection of my skill set and my passions, where I get to work for the church, get to move the church forward, but I also get to play with technology every day.
Okay, so you went from student ministry worship into tech stuff.
That's right.
I like that. Okay, quickly, real quick, before we get into Ministry Brands, what is it that you loved about student ministry? What did you love about worship ministry?
Yeah, for me, it was about helping others. Kind of, growing up, even at 12 and 13 years old, I had the opportunity to stand up on stage, and I was, playing the electric guitar, or I was able to. I think I was 15. I did my first internship at a church. And had the ability to preach for the first time, and just the ability to see people's lives change, their heart change. They came up afterwards and they talked about, hey, this is how I was acting, or these were the things that I was doing, and I think I need to change that. Just watching that life change, it was something I've always wanted to be a part of.
That's cool. Now, have you taken anything that you've learned from the ministry aspect to Ministry Brands? Like, has that helped you along the way?
100%. I get to help lead an entire team of people to build software that solves the problems that I used to feel.
Yeah.
So, well over a decade ago, it was probably early 2000s, I helped implement Fellowship One and Clover Sites
Oh,
and
nice.
Simple Church CRM and some of these things that Ministry Brands has brought together. I actually helped implement them a long time ago. Shelby, I grew up on the Shelby system, right? A lot of these church technology systems. And so I remember in the early days, things that were really great and kind of revolutionary, and things that you would get in and you'd say that's painful. And so today, 20 years later, I now have the opportunity to really impact those things and continue to help move us forward.
Yeah, see, I think when you have, again, you're at Ministry Brands, and when you have someone who's been in the trenches like you have, I think that really goes to play a big role in how a company that supports ministries really plays out. You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our full staff, we have about 750 employees at Ministry
Wow.
Brands, and a huge majority of them have either been in ministry full-time or part-time. And it's really cool getting on some of the calls with some of them, and they'll oftentimes throw up, yeah, when I was a pastor at so-and-so, here was a problem that we have, and I'm so glad we're finally solving it. Or, yeah, the church that I serve in today, here is a problem that we're having, et cetera. Even today, I call it down in the basement, but I serve at one of the really large churches here in Atlanta every Sunday. I'm down in the basement helping run ProPresenter and the media software for our services. And a lot of the people inside of our organization do that. Our tagline internally is helping make passion actionable for our associates. And so it's really about finding people who have that passion for church and giving them an outlet to actually be able to impact churches around the globe.
That is awesome. Okay, so Kay, let's get into this. Let's talk about Ministry Brands first. How did that get started? I mean, that was probably started before you got in there, but what do you all specialize in? What is the hope of Ministry Brands?
Yeah, the hope of Ministry Brands is really to make passion actionable for individuals and help build healthy churches. Okay. And so at the end of the day, we think that everybody has a different definition for what a healthy church is. It's that age-old conversation of discipleship versus evangelism versus whatever. At the end of the day, you really have to marry those together and say, hey, a healthy church is a growing church, a thriving church, and a church where it's serving the community in meaningful ways. And so that's what we seek to do with our software. As far as the history of Ministry Brands, we really started around 2010. It started with a website platform actually, and we started bringing different brands together. Over the last, I guess that's 13 years now, we've brought 52 different church software products together to make what is Ministry Brands today. Many of them go back way before Ministry Brands started, such as Shelby Systems, which has been around for almost 45 years now. Fellowship One, started, early 2000s, Clover Sites, early 2000s. So a lot of these really robust and meaningful systems were kind of brought together into a single portfolio. Now, the vision is not to have a bunch of individual software products, which is what we've done historically. The vision was, how do we get the best-in-class systems so we can marry them up into what we call an all-in-one? So that way we can go forward with one CHMS system that encompasses everything a church needs to do digitally. We believe that the future of church is to some extent digital, right? A lot of the data and the metrics and the communication and the engagement is going to be driven based on technology. And if your website platform can talk to your database management platform, which can talk to your giving platform, which can talk to your background check platform, we believe that is all made more powerful when it's all in one single system.
Which brings us to your newest all-in-one product is the Amplify TM.
That's
Okay.
right.
So I will say this, as a minister myself, I do the online ministry at my church. We're here on this thing, we're here on that, we're here on that, and they don't speak to each other at all. And we're trying to kind of figure out, okay, how can we integrate this? How can we integrate that? And so what you're doing with Amplify TM, you're making it that all-in-one platform that you were just describing, correct?
That's correct. Yep. We've been spending at least the last year. We've been dreaming of it for a couple of years now, but we really kicked off development about this time last year on this idea of building a technology platform that all of these best-in-class solutions could be plugged into. And it gives you things like single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, single place to manage your users, a single place for your data flows, et cetera. So when you update a person in this system, it updates in this system. When somebody gives in this system, it appears in this system. That's the foundation. That's the first step in what we call this, Ministry Brands Amplify, or this all-in-one solution. But we believe that what we're doing by tying all of this together, yes, it makes it easier to administer it, makes it easier to utilize, it makes it more powerful, but we believe that it's supercharging the data that currently exists in our disparate systems. And it's laying a foundation that we are starting to invest in to build analytics and reporting engines on top of that, to give us real-time analytics to help pastors minister to their congregants at the point of need based on what's actually happening in the data, not things that they find out happened months later through conversations.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool, because again, like I said, we have a giving platform, we have a church management software, we have an attendance platform, we have so many different things. And then again, we have our student ministry uses this, our children's ministry uses that. So are you saying that all the ministries of the entire church can be locked into this one platform?
Yes, it can be. I'll give you one quick example, and specifically to youth ministry makes me very excited. Beginning of May, we're bringing all of our different website platforms together into one Amplify module. It's called Amplify Websites. Okay. With Amplify Websites, we have Clover sites, we have Share Faith websites, we have E360 websites, which are all different things. Some are built on WordPress, some are an easy drag and drop, kind of like a Wix system. Our E360 sites is a custom proprietary large church custom website system. Well, what we've done is we've built a data layer underneath it that we're calling our ministry content distribution network, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's your sermon or your events or your giving forms or anything like that. Instead of having to build those on your youth ministry website and your primary church website and your children's ministry website, with a click of a button, you can add a new website. And all of that content that you've created, your blog posts, anything else, will be passed to any of your new websites. And then all you're doing is filtering it. So your youth pastor sermons will appear on your youth webpage, whereas your main pastor sermons can go on the main page. What's more exciting is the fact that your primary ministry might want to spend a chunk of change on building a custom website. But your youth ministry may say, no, I just need a WordPress site. And our new platform allows for that flexibility.
Really?
It does. It does.
Wow, that is awesome.
It is.
Okay, I love that. Okay, well, the other thing I really like too is the whole texting idea. Texting is so important to get the word out to your different ministries and whatnot. So you're saying your Amplify you can send emails, you can send texts as well?
That's right. Yep. So today, as it stands, and we're still innovating and adding more things to Amplify, but today you can send mass text messages and mass email messages through the Amplify People module. So you can get into your church database system and say, hey, here's the list of people that I want to send a message to, and you can send that out. We also have text giving, so people can text and receive information on specifically how to sign up for giving. Coming in the future, later in this year into 2024, we are going to be launching a communications module that expands that functionality. It'll allow you to do things like phone trees and voicemail messages and push notifications and things like that, not only based on the data in your church management people module, but across your applications. Any kind of data that you have where you want to pull a list in and with a click of a button, send that out in some form of mass communication, all of that will be part of this communications module.
So you can send out a mass voicemail, like a voice message to people?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, that's wild. Okay, again, I don't use my home phone number very much anymore, but I do love having the idea as a minister to be able to send something pre-recorded. I'm assuming, correct?
Yes. Yeah, for the voicemails. That's right.
Yeah, pre-recorded to the voicemails. That's a great way to get the word out, again, because you're using text, you're using email, but you're also using the phone. So
that's right. That's right. We also have it used to be called Ministry One. The Ministry One mobile app is now part of Amplify, and it's Amplify Mobile. And in that, a congregant can download the app with your church. They can view sermons. They can give right there through the app. They can sign up for event forms and things like that. But there's also a messaging section. So anybody who has that mobile app, your pastors, your staff can send real-time messages about things going on in the church to individuals through that mobile app as well.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, two other things that I saw that really, again, it's all about the integration that really encourages me. We have our church management system here. We have Google Calendar over here. Are you saying I don't need to have Google Calendar anymore? It could all fit under one system?
That's right. That's right. So today in Amplify People, we do have a calendaring and a scheduling functionality. Now, this is something that we are looking at revitalizing. When we look across our portfolio, I think we have 6 calendaring and scheduling systems, including worshipplanning.com. Later on this year, we're bringing worshipplanning.com and some of our other systems into our application. We're going to be launching a whole new events module. And all of that will be built around a centralized church calendaring system. So you can spin up events or schedules. You can purchase, media or a curriculum, kids curriculum from our Share Faith media platform and automatically assign it to your calendar on certain days for your children's ministry to be able to utilize those type of things. All of that will be centralized. Again, today we do have calendaring, but it's getting better as we continue to build out these integrations.
Okay, wait, did you just mention curriculum?
Yes. We have kids curriculum, VBS curriculum today. Later this quarter, we're actively working on launching student ministry curriculum. I am so excited about this.
Okay, because that's a whole different level right there, because we've got curriculum over here and curriculum over here. That's really cool to have one central place. Amplify does all of that.
It does, yes.
That's awesome. Okay, and then the other thing that caught my attention, again, because it's a really important thing for safety, is the kids check-in process. What's that like?
Yeah, so there's, and I want to dive into the safety thing for a second, because there's the kids check-in piece, which is really important, but there's also, we're experts in background checks, and I want to dig into that piece as well. So on the kids check-in piece, we actually just finished revitalizing some of the functionality around attendance tracking and kids check-in, but we have kiosks that load up on computers. We have iPad apps that you can install and load, and when somebody comes in, they just type in their phone number and they can look up their kids. They click a button, it prints out stickers. All of it's fully integrated with standard Brother printers. It does the thermo prints. You can take those out, stick them on, and then you can go ahead and check your kid in. And then before you pick your kid up, you just make sure those badges match, or those stickers match, and then it provides an extra layer of security for the kids. But the other piece to the security that I don't want to leave off is this whole background check thing. It's great to make sure your kid is safe on Sunday morning, but as soon as you walk to your primary worship service or big church, right, you need to make sure that your volunteers are fully screened and thoroughly screened to make sure that your kids are safe kind of in that environment. So we at Ministry Brands, instead of partnering with others that run background checks, we actually run the background checks ourselves. So we have 4 background check providers, what are called CRAs, or credit reporting agencies, that we've brought together. And then we also have built out and own a data aggregator that sits underneath them. So most of the individuals in the church space running background checks just outsource that to a third party. But we run the background checks. We own the CRAs, the credit reporting agencies that run the background checks. And we own the data layer to make sure, and all of this was custom built specifically for ministries and churches, to make sure that as we're screening these volunteers and these staff members, that we can make sure that we're providing the safe environment necessary across the spectrum of churches.
Okay, I'm thinking, as I'm hearing you talk about all the different pieces you have in this one central hub at Amplify, that this has to be like $1,000 a month, or like $50,000 a year or something like that. What's the pricing breakdown for this?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we do have volume-based pricing. So it depends on how large the church is, and how many what we call records, or how much usage there is. And so yeah, there is a sliding scale a little bit. Yeah. But for the most part, we've worked really hard at making sure that churches specifically under about 250 in typical weekly attendance, that starting price is $75. So for $75, you can get people giving, a mobile app, and we're getting ready to add streaming as well to that $75 package. And then we will be scaling from there. There will be more packages rolled out later this year, but we're trying to keep that entry-level price point as low as possible to make it accessible for all churches of all sizes.
And just to clarify, $75 a month.
$75 a month. That's correct.
Yeah. But again, just because I'm in ministry, I know that $75 a month is really cheap and really affordable, because if you're paying this platform this month, it does add up. And I wasn't being sarcastic. I mean, it's a lot of money. All the different elements that you have combined into the one thing with Amplify, I think that's going to save your church time, and it's going to save your church money.
Yeah. Well, and a little background for me, before I started working at Ministry Brands, I actually worked at another church software company for about 3 years back a little while ago. Our infrastructure, let's talk Amplify people for a second. Our infrastructure is about a 20th of the cost of a lot of our competitors. So the way that we have architected our systems, the way that we've built it, is specifically about making sure that the cost to operate and host and build these things is as small as possible. So that way we can offer a better price point. And a lot of that margin now goes into the largest R&D organization in the church ministry space. We have about 150 R&D folks and product folks that all work on a daily basis to innovate and continuously bring new features to market.
Wow, that's really awesome. Like, I'm completely sold on this right now. And I'm like, why is my church not using this?
That's right.
And so I'm really sold. But okay, so what else would you add to this? What else could you tell us about Amplify that would really strike ministry leaders right now?
Yeah, I think that the next most exciting thing is I explained the background check piece, where not only do we do the background checks, but we actually own all of the architecture that was custom built for churches. The same is true on our giving side. Anybody else that you use for giving is out there using somebody else as the actual payment processing system. We are the payment processing system. We built a payment facilitation system that handles all of the underlying architecture that was built specifically for ministries and churches. We are working on scaling this now. We're getting ready to roll out check scanning functionality, and we have some other things coming in the later this year that are going to add on top of that. But the way I like to describe it is, in the Bible, Christ says, build your church on, or I will build my church on a rock, right? There's the old Bible song of build your house on a rock, things like that. That's the mentality that Ministry Brands Amplify took when it came to payments. Is, hey, let's not just build something that sits on somebody else's infrastructure that we have no authority or control over, but let's build a rock hard foundation and then establish a giving program on top of that. And so not only is it the most robust in the industry, it's the most powerful in the industry. And some of the fun and exciting things that are coming out next are things like guaranteed payments, where we have multiple redundancies in our payment system. So that way you never have to worry about outages, you never have to worry about downtime. All of it is queued and then reprocessed. So that way the church can make sure that they are giving the opportunity for stewardship and giving without creating that friction on the part of the members and congregants.
See, again, I know I hit on it earlier, but this really does seem like a platform that's designed by ministry leaders for ministry leaders. And the fact that you guys have had so many people involved with ministry, you guys know what ministry leaders need and
Right.
churches need. That's why I think it's so affordable. And I think that's why you have that all-in-one with Amplify.
That's right. That's right. We're also getting ready to launch in Q3. We are currently laying the details down to launch some customer advisory councils. So that way we don't just take our past ministry experience into account, but that we're continuously talking with and bringing the feedback from the churches of all shapes and sizes into the equation. So that way we continuously innovate and build the next generation of new and cool tools.
Yeah. Again, this is fantastic. And I'm just thinking what a time saver it will be for church administrators and ministry leaders to have everything just one central location, that you don't have to sign in, sign out, check this thing, check that thing, but it's all in one place. So talk to me about the support that you offer. Like, if I was to sign up for this, what kind of support would I get? Do I get 24-hour access? What does that look like from Ministry Brands?
Yeah, so we have the largest support team in the industry. We have everything from professional services to just pure support that you can call up and get your questions answered, to what we call customer success representatives or account management representatives. And so the whole life cycle of your journey with Ministry Brands, whether it's setup and consulting on how to run a giving campaign, or whether it's just something's not working quite right and you need a question answered, or maybe it is truly a question of, hey, I don't know how to grow my church, and I want to leverage technology to do that, whether that's streaming or websites or analytics or whatever. We have a whole slew of individuals who are on the phones ready at all times to answer those questions. Yes, we do offer premium support for things like Sunday morning, Wednesday night, just to make sure that we're always there and always on when you need us. But then obviously normal business hours as well, and extended hours on the weekends.
Man, this is awesome. I'm kind of blown away. Like when we were talking about having you on and everything like that, I didn't really realize how robust Ministry Brands and Amplify specifically is. That's fantastic. This is a great opportunity for churches to really take and adapt. Would you say that? I'm setting you up for this question, I would think. But would you say that it would probably be pretty user-friendly too, even for like a small church who's doing this and they have part-time help? Would you say that it would be user-friendly to adapt?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my passions is on the design side of things. It's called UX, or user experience design. It's something that I've dabbled in for many years. And so when I came to Ministry Brands and looked at our portfolio and started really thinking through how are we going to bring everything all together, one of the big things was, hey, it all needs to look the same. It needs to feel the same. It needs to operate the same. And it needs to be user-friendly, right? And so we, as part of this initiative to bring everything together into Amplify, we've coined this term. We call it UInification, or user interface unification, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And it's this idea of how do we upgrade our portfolio across the board to have better user experience, make it easier for people to log in and make it just consistent. And so we're about 40% of the way through that inside of our portfolio, but we have more work that is being designed as we speak to continue to improve all of our systems across our portfolio for better usability. Now, we've put a gate and said you can't go into Amplify unless you are already UInified. So everything in Amplify has that updated look and feel. It's extremely user-friendly, but as we continue to bring more in, we're making sure that everything meets that high standard of user design and user experience strategy before it's brought in.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm assuming that you guys have plenty of tools within Amplify that would make a migration from one platform to Amplify easy. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. So we actually have an entire development team that does nothing but build migration tooling. So it makes it very easy to bring things in. We also have a lot of database administrators who are really good at sitting down and mapping data from any different system, bringing that in. So that's something we do on a daily basis. We have pre-built structures and tools that bring people into our ecosystem, from whether it's another CHMS or another giving system or another background check system, et cetera. We have all those migration paths nailed down.
That's awesome. Okay, well, as we wrap up, this has been fantastic. Again, I've been blown away by this whole conversation. Give me one last selling point. What would you, with someone who's kind of on the fence about going to migrate to Amplify, what would you say? What would you encourage them?
All you have to do is go and look at Facebook or look at LinkedIn or talk to somebody these days. And everybody's talking about these new, modern, exciting technologies that are coming out, right? Whether that's in the area of AI or whether that's in the area of data or predictive analytics or things like that. I would say, why come to Amplify? The answer is because Amplify is just the beginning. So Amplify is this unification of all of our systems, but we're already working behind the scenes on bringing new, exciting, fun technologies to the marketplace, so that way churches are on the cutting edge of technology, not the laggards in this space. And so if you want to be a part of that journey, if you want to speak into that journey, now's the time to join us. Now's the time to partner with us, so that we can continue to push the boundaries of church and digital technology usage together.
Yeah, and you said this earlier, but the church needs to go digital. And if you're not in digital in some ways, you're missing out, because eventually everything's going to be digital, and we're going to be out of it. You need to do that in Amplify, combining all the those different applications and programs together into one simple place would be fantastic. Where can I find Amplify, and where can I find ministry brands in particular?
Yeah, so just go to Google and type in Ministry Brands Amplify. It's also ministrybrandsamplify.com. The actual application is at myamplify.io or myamplify.com. So you can find us online. There are phone numbers, there are sign-up forms, anything that you want to do in order to reach out and just get more information. We'd love to talk to any and all of you.
That's awesome. Well, Nathan, this has been fantastic. So I hope people sign up for it. And I'm going to have all the links in the show notes so people can just go and click on that and get connected and try it. Do you guys do demos?
We do. Yeah, we do demos. We also just launched, I want to say it was Tuesday of this week, we launched free trials for Amplify, which is the first ever. So the people module, the mobile module, you can go directly to our website, click get a free trial. You can get in and play around with it for 30 days, no strings attached.
That's awesome. All right, Nathan, this is exciting. I hope you get a lot of people signed up for it, because it seems like a great deal. Thanks so much for being with me today.
Hey, Tom, thank you so much for the time. It's been great.
All right, so what did you think? What stood out to you from the conversation with Nathan? It was great getting to know him a little bit more, great getting to hear about Amplified. What stood out to you? Definitely let us know. Ask us questions. You can put it in the comment section, or you can hit me up on Twitter. @TAPounder is my Twitter X handle. I'd love for you to connect with me there. I'd also love for you to connect with Nathan and Ministry Brands. I've got all their links in the show notes below, so definitely do that. But if you got questions, let's talk about it on Twitter, or again, you can ask questions in the comments section. All right, here's well, thanks so much for being with me today. As always, if you enjoyed the podcast, go on YouTube, go on the Facebook groups, subscribe to it. It's also on Apple and Spotify and Amazon Music. I would love for you to be able to subscribe to that and get these every time they come out for you today. All right, here's why. I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and until next time, have a great one.